Hey everyone, welcome to Infinite Binge. We are watching Westworld, Season 1, Episode 2 this time. I am Jake, and who else is here?
Kevin?
And Andrew.
Okay, so this episode is called Chestnut. And basically what happens is two guests arrive at the park with very different expectations. Maeve's emotions are tweaked, and the man in black seeks help from a condemned man.
Yeah, thank you, IMDb, for that
Yes?
excellent synopsis. Or kind of, it's almost like a little teaser,
Yeah.
but it's very, to the point.
For this episode, we are actually trying a little different format, so leave us some feedback and tell us what you think. Feedback is always good.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. Kind of talking about the two guests arriving to the park. I thought it was really cool to see that sort of onboarding process.
Oh yeah, I thought that was very cool. The way it was so seamless, like into the train.
Yeah, and it was like, hey, everything's
Your size.
everything's your
perfect
size,
for
bespoke.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah. Just pick what you want.
I kind of really like that last choice, that last decision.
The hat?
The hat, black hat, white hat. It kind of calls back to the first episode where everything's just where the guy's like, first time I was here was with the family, went white hat. Second time I went black hat, straight evil.
Yeah, I like his friend too. The way that.
Why?
Well, I mean, I like his reaction to everything. I don't like him as a character, but
Okay, because he's an asshole.
yeah, but the way that William is getting sucked into all these little side quests, and he's just like, no, stop! They're just gonna lead you on some dumb treasure hunt. Come on. It's like he's played the game before and wants to skip all of the meaningless stuff.
He's skipping the tutorial.
Yeah, exactly.
He doesn't need to look up at the lights and then down at the light, and
He knows the controls.
yeah.
He knows how to jump, crouch, crawl.
I wonder if he's an inverted man.
I bet he is. That character
Probably.
definitely.
With his he's like yeah. Anyway, but yeah, even though we've seen, do we want to go full spoilers?
Yeah, I think we should. I think it'll make for a more interesting discussion. So this was just upfront. This is full spoilers for the entire series because this is a rewatch. So you've been warned.
Well, the entire first season, I guess.
Yeah. Well, yeah. We should probably put a mention of that up front in the description. But yeah, so I thought it was interesting because this is the first time I've rewatched it since I originally watched it. Like the way that it opens with Dolores and them asking her, "Do you remember?" And then the way it cuts to William arriving.
Now, the voiceover in the beginning, that's her, and I'm guessing Bernarnold?
Yeah.
It's definitely not the Lost Hemsworth brother, which was the one who did the original one in the first episode.
Yeah. I think it was Arnold.
Bernarnold.
No, I think it was the original Arnold.
Yeah, probably.
But I like that because it cuts to do you remember? And then it's to William, and that whole thing is like a flashback. So that whole thing is a memory. Like every time you see him in this series, it is a memory
Because
he is the man in black.
He is Ed Harris.
even though in his stuff he's the white hat, and then later on he's the black hat, which kind of almost makes me wonder. He's not. So he's kind of like that guy, but he's not like from the first episode. But he's not like as sort of outgoing and interacting with the other guests.
Yeah, but I mean, you have to. I mean, there's also that line that his friend, or his soon-to-be brother-in-law, says to him, says, "This is the place where you find out who you really are, and I can't wait to meet that guy." And
Yeah,
then,
that was cool.
And then it cuts to the man in black. I really like that, the way it's cutting between everything with all this foreshadowing, I guess.
Yeah, it's definitely rewatching it. You pick up on things that you didn't get the first time around.
They also show how much more of a savage the man in black has become, because he just destroys everyone in this episode.
Yeah, and at the start of when he's William, he's just like helping all of the robots up that trip, handing people cans, he's just being nice to everybody.
Yeah, he's definitely not his brother-in-law and stabbing people in the hand. Yeah, it's just that guy is a kind of a jerk, and he oddly enough, that actor, very good actor, is a jerk in like everything I've seen him in. So he plays a jerk very well.
He was in The Punisher, right?
Yeah, he was Billy Russo in The Punisher.
He was a jerk in The Punisher.
So the other thing I like is they're getting things started in this one with the robots. Are they robots?
They're robots.
Either that or they're kind of like some sort of synthetic cybernetic. I don't even want to call them an organism. Well, maybe you should, because if they can sort of experience pain, like the way Maeve does in this episode, and you can have MRSA inside of you.
Yeah.
Then I would almost call them like some sort of like fully like autonomous cybernetic organism.
But I mean, I would definitely call them robots. I mean, remember the way like the old host was talking with Anthony Hopkins, and the way he was moving?
The early model, though.
Yeah, these are just the upgraded versions. They're still based on that, right?
Yeah, I guess so. But anyways, where they plant the seed of the these violent delights have violent ends. I think, is that the line?
Yeah. They say this thing could be contagious,
and they have Dolores say it to Maeve, and now she is becoming self-aware.
Well, yeah, she's having memories of the Man in Black being a savage.
Very much so.
Well,
like if you thought he was maybe a bad guy.
Was that actually him? Because it looked like it was also like she was being her and her family were being attacked by native.
Yeah, it was both. So it was like their property was under attack, but then it's just him like busting through the door and
not really helping.
Well, assuming that he murders both her and what's assumed to be like her daughter.
I assumed he killed everyone that was outside too.
After this, probably he just kills everyone everywhere.
Basically, he's just like walking around with the infinite ammo cheat on and God mode. He's trying to get a 5-star rating.
I mean, he would have gotten a 5-star rating, but he's some like bigwig or something, because they do have that scene where one of the guys is like, "Hey, this guy's just kind of like killing everybody. Should we do something?" And then I still can't believe that he's a Hemsworth. Yeah, that still blows my mind. But he's like, nah, he's like some big shot. Like, you leave him be.
Yeah, he gets whatever he wants.
But yeah, it was nice. They're sowing the seeds of what's to come. And also, what terrible Tex. Like when she wakes up a little bit later on, when it kind of comes to a head later.
Oh, at like the end of the episode?
Right before, where she's being dissected, the two guys.
Yeah, and she wakes up.
Oh, well, that was the thing, was, so, like, they're like, well, did you put her in sleep mode? And, like, she's remembering this thing, and she's kind of, like, dreaming about it, and at another point in the episode, she is talking to one of the other ladies, and is talking about how she gets around having like nightmares, and she counts backwards from 3, 2, 1, and then she wakes up, and she does that right before she wakes up essentially on the table.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because in that happening, because they explain they give them nightmares so that if someone forgets to wipe something, they explain it away. But in that same sense, I'm guessing that because of that, that's why they give her this 1, 2, 3 thing, which is this inevitable, like, it backfires. Like that whole little thing they put in every one of them is the cause of this then happening.
Well, does it backfire or does it work as intended?
Well,
because I mean, it's Anthony Hopkins.
Exactly. So, does he want this to happen? We're probably getting like way.
We are getting way too far ahead. Yeah, time will tell, I guess.
Yeah.
This was a really kind of Maeve-centric episode as well.
Well, yeah, her and the Man in Black, like, rescuing the guy from the noose.
Yeah, Lawrence Clifton Collins.
Yeah. That's a good actor, too. He's in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he's in a lot of stuff.
But then I noticed about the Man in Black, like, his gun, it holds a lot of bullets, and then it holds one shotgun shell in the middle. And I just felt that was just such, like, a video game gun.
Yeah, a little bit.
I wonder, is that real?
I don't know.
I would think it would have to be.
It could be. I wouldn't be that surprised. But yeah, he's basically playing Red Dead Redemption real life.
But not real life.
But not real life.
Like real kind of reality, but like detached from reality. Yeah, it's kind of cool. Speaking of like sort of how this is, I mean, I think that there are a lot of things about it that really feel like video games, and then when it kind of cuts to the technicians and things, and you see them kind of working on like even the behavioral things where they edit their different statistics essentially, and they give like Maeve like plus 20 to aggression basically, so that she's more aggressive with the guests and getting them to sleep with her. Yeah, they re-rolled her stats a little bit. They respect her. I think that's kind of cool. It's something you don't really think about, but you know, putting it within the context of, you know, essentially a game or a video game is a good way to think about it. Yeah, I like the I can't remember her name, but the other tech that comes in, and she's just basically saying the guys that upped her aggression were idiots. Oh yeah. And then like instead of upped her intelligence and her emotional acuity or what have you. Yeah. It's Shannon Woodward. I don't remember.
She was in Firefly?
No.
Is that what I know her from?
No, I don't think so.
She's been in other stuff. Did you ever see Raising Hope or The Riches? Nope. Then I don't know. I can't help you.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah, but I like that. Also, like when they upped her aggression and then it didn't work, she got like marked to be recalled. So she was going to go into storage. And then they're like, nah, she's still good. And then they put her back out there just to have her wake up later. I think they should have maybe went with their guts on that one.
Well, but at the same time, if it's a cost saving measure and they can sort of repair one of their hosts rather than have to build a completely new one.
Well, and that for that point, I'm not even sure like what kind of cost these things could have, because one of the things I enjoyed, like, you know, that kind of made me smile this episode was, you know, the other little like kind of side thing, you know, setting up things to come is a new story for the park. They're trying to come up with some new storyline, and you know, everyone's favorite British character.
He's no one's favorite anything.
No, yeah, he's the worst. But he's come up with his, you know, story that he thinks is the greatest thing ever. And, you know, they're like, he's trying to reason with the woman who runs it. And he's like, you know, I need a horde of savages. I need like at least 30 more hosts. And she's like, no, you could get 20 or whatever it is.
Yeah, I think so. It's like, I think he wants 50, and she's like, no, 20.
And then it's like, because then he like flips out later on, and he like breaks one of them, like breaks the nose because they put like a very large nose or whatever. And it's like, they can just make these people out of thin air? So like, does that cost that much? Or It's very like confusing.
It shows them like being built like in those pools of like the white liquid.
Yeah.
So it looks like it's all like automated. So I have no idea like how long it takes or the cost.
I just love though, with that storyline thing at the end when Anthony Hopkins just comes out and he's like, no. He's like, yeah, I'll take these few things, but no, and just shuts him down.
Yeah. And that was it earlier in the episode, or was it after that he's seen like in the park with the kid?
That was a little bit before.
Okay.
So yeah, where he was kind of walking around, and then the quote unquote kid shows up, and he starts talking with him, and I guess all the wildlife is also robots because there's a rattlesnake that he just controls with his finger.
Yeah, which kind of gives a really cool quote, which was everything in this world is magic except to the magician.
What a perfect actor for that role.
Yeah, Anthony Hopkins is great. He also had that line where my father used to say only boring people get bored, and then the kid said mine too.
Yeah.
Like in the first time you think, oh, because Anthony Hopkins is basically the father of all the robots, but no, it's because the kid is Anthony Hopkins as a kid.
Yeah. But then later, so that happened before, and then the very end of the episode is him walking with Bernard back out in that area, being like, "Yep, this is where it's gonna be."
Now I couldn't. I don't remember, and I'm sure it'll become clear later. But is that because I know there's this big storyline thing that they do? Is that for like essentially either the original William storyline, or is that for the Man in Black storyline time?
I think it's for the Man in Black storyline, and I think the storyline is the robots revolting.
Yes.
Revolting. I think that's the storyline that he was been working on.
Yes. I would agree with that. I believe that's what that is.
Okay, well, we'll get there, and we won't even get there in this rewatch.
Yeah. And one of the questions I had, because I don't remember, and maybe it's answered later, but I thought maybe one of you guys would, because episode starts and also ends Dolores going at her house and digging up some of the ground. And in the beginning, it doesn't show you until the end of the episode where, she pulls a revolver out that was buried there. But where did that come from?
I have a guess. I think because you know how we saw all those dead bodies in the town, and we know
from that, yeah.
And Dolores was she? It's been a while since I've watched it. I think she was one of the ones, or she was the one shooting people.
Yes,
maybe.
Like she was with.
So maybe
she was the one. Yep.
When she was with William.
Yeah, and then so she buried the gun. Maybe.
That's my guess, but I just couldn't remember, and
Yeah, we'll get there. When we get to those episodes later, we'll probably see for sure. But I think we covered everything we want to cover this episode. Is there anything else you guys want to bring up?
I just want to say, I had a note that said, "Yo, Bernard getting it." I thought that was worthy of mentioning.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I mean, hey,
right,
he's gonna have something to keep him going.
And she doesn't know he's a robot. All right, I'm gonna wrap up. Thanks for listening. Make sure you like us and share and subscribe and do all that good stuff. And also listen to the Manga Machinations and the Geekbox and Comic Conspiracy. And thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.